For decades, the U.S. Navy served as the unquestioned guarantor of global shipping, policing vital energy choke points. Today, that umbrella is closing. The mandate came directly from Donald Trump on Truth Social. He told nations struggling to secure jet fuel, specifically singling out the UK, that they have two choices: buy oil directly from the US or go to the Middle East and take it themselves. The post was a direct rebuke of the British Royal Navy. The administration accused the UK of refusing to join the military operation to dismantle Iran's leadership, bluntly stating that European nations need to learn how to fight for themselves because the US will no longer help. The administration's rationale for pulling back is straightforward. They consider the heavy lifting to be finished. The official Washington stance is that Iran's military capabilities are essentially decimated, and the conflict's core objectives have already been achieved. By openly abandoning joint patrols, Washington is forcing its oldest allies into a highly vulnerable position. Western nations are now entirely responsible for militarizing and defending their own energy supply lines through one of the most volatile regions on Earth. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth reinforced this aggressive posture at the Pentagon. He claimed that after only a month of operations, the U.S. is setting the terms of the conflict, and the coming days will bring decisive, absolute victory. To back up that claim, the military points to the sheer volume of its air campaign. Over a single 24-hour period, U.S. forces executed 200 dynamic strikes against Iranian targets. A dynamic strike happens when a pilot leaves base with one mission, but receives new, real-time intelligence in the air. The pilot literally reroutes mid-flight to hit a newly identified target, like a mobile launcher or a shifting troop formation. CENTCOM intelligence reports state these precision strikes are destroying underground command bunkers, cutting off power and water to Iranian leadership, and causing widespread desertions across the military. Washington insists there is a deal on the table, one that requires Iran to dismantle its nuclear and ballistic missile programs entirely. But Tehran paints a very different picture, completely denying that any formal negotiations are taking place. Dropping hundreds of munitions proves tactical dominance, but without a verified diplomatic track, strategic victory is an illusion. European allies are now trapped in a diplomatic fog of war, listening to U.S. rhetoric that outpaces the verified facts on the ground. Down on the water, the situation is even more precarious. If Tehran refuses to negotiate on Washington's terms, the administration is threatening to escalate the conflict by directly targeting Iranian electricity plants and oil wells. This is Karg Island. It operates as the central hub for nearly all of Iran's crude oil exports, making it the ultimate leverage point in Washington's escalation strategy. This chart shows how the market has reacted. Because Iran maintains physical control over the Strait of Hormuz, they are retaliating by charging international vessels millions of dollars in tolls just to pass through. That massive bottleneck in the Middle East is bleeding directly into the U.S. economy. With global oil supplies choked off, average gas prices for American consumers have surged to $4 a gallon. A military campaign designed to project absolute dominance overseas has triggered a financial crisis at home. The tactical wins in the air have failed to secure the one thing the global market actually needs: cheap and accessible energy. Back in London, the British government has to navigate the reality of being publicly cast aside by its most critical military partner. Surprisingly, Buckingham Palace confirmed that King Charles and Queen Camilla will proceed with their historic state visit to Washington this coming April, exactly as planned. Going through with the trip is causing intense friction within the UK. There are widespread demands across the country to postpone the visit, given the escalating Middle East conflict and the harsh rhetoric coming directly from the Oval Office. The decision to smile for the cameras while absorbing massive policy blows captures the modern geopolitical reality. Western nations are learning that to survive America's new isolationist posture, they have to quietly swallow the insults and project diplomatic unity at all costs.